Wa province accidentally discovered the treasure of King Han. Dear viewers, welcome back to the latest episode of Top Secret. Dear audience, King Han was the 8th king of the Nguyen dynasty, the last feudal dynasty in Vietnamese history. Ascending the throne at just 13 years old, King Han soon demonstrated his patriotic spirit. Associated with this patriotic king is also a mysterious tale, with no solution yet about a hidden treasure, and that treasure was accidentally found by a man in Thanh Hoa. Is this true or not? Where is that treasure currently located? Please join us to find out in today's program. In the summer of 1982, residents in the remote Hoa Sun area saw a man appear in their village. No one was particularly curious, as at that time strangers often came to the village to trade, harvest agarwood, hunt wild animals, causing quite a commotion. From strangers to acquaintances, he lived, ate, and socialized with the villagers for years. Sometimes when the station police came to check residency, the locals would hide him in the forest. Once the police left, he would return to the village as if nothing had happened. Mr. Nguyen Hong Kong, born in 1952, is the second son of a farming family in Hai Quang County, Thanh Gia District, Thanh Hoa. According to his confession, before embarking on the treasure hunt, he was a border guard officer in Long An province. The event that changed his life occurred in the summer of 1982. At that time, Nguyen Van Lo, Kong's older brother, was a sailor on an ocean-going ship, and after a work trip abroad, he brought back a map, said to be the location map of King Han's treasure. Regarding the details of this map, Nguyen Hong Kong declined to disclose, but according to him, the roots and its location were clearly guided in a family genealogy. Somehow, he had memorized it thoroughly. Utilizing his leave days at that time, Kong was present in the Hoa Sun Mountains, Minh Hoa, Quang Vinh to purchase Hagerwood, as he claimed, but actually to wander, explore, and search for gold, while scouring the Hoa Siu mountain area. By chance, Nguyen Hong found a stone shaped like a skull, with one side engraved with a character for K, exactly matching the map he possessed. Driven by curiosity, Nguyen Hong Kong spent several days investigating and discovered many coincidences that seemed intriguing. The mountain where the stone was found is named Hoa Siu or Yen Nagua. At the foot of the mountain, there is a wide, flat mound called Dong Quan AP, traditionally said to be the camping site of the king's escort. There, a very large stone is worn on one side, which locals claim is due to hundreds of soldiers sharpening their swords. From this stone, Nguyen Hong Kong easily found ironwood trees, banyan trees, and oak trees. Ancient trees growing beside a stream flowing at the foot of the mountain, according to him, were clearly recorded in a map and genealogy regarding landmarks and vegetation to identify the treasure. Moreover, the story of accidentally finding King Han's treasure in 1956 at Hoa Sun is still recounted by the elderly. Some officials and researchers that Nguyen Hong Kong approached did not deny it. Thus, without any doubt, Nguyen Hong Kong applied for discharge and began the excavation, dedicating his entire youth. Initially, to avoid being detected by locals, Nguyen Hong Kong dug alone, digging by day, resting by night for 5 consecutive. Instead of finding pure gold or silver bars, Kong claimed he discovered the construction pattern of the treasure. According to him, the entire treasure is arranged on a rectangular sloping surface along the mountain, 100 meters long and 50 meters wide. The starting side of the treasure is a red mark at the base of an ironwood tree. From there, heading for the stream, we'll encounter the 3 intersection points of the character King, consisting of 3 horizontal strokes and 1 vertical stroke, or the intersection point is the water drainage hole, and the vertical stroke is the stream. The ancients used stream water to camouflage the treasure chamber. To open the treasure chamber, according to him, it is absolutely necessary to divert all natural underground water veins in the mountain. At that point, the old Minh Tri-Thien provincial authorities decisively expelled the unlicensed mountain excavator Nguyen Hong Kong from Hoa Sun. Unwilling to abandon his endeavor, Nguyen Hong Kong gathered all documents and materials, submitted a report to the old Ministry of Culture and Information, and persuaded the responsible agencies of it to obtain a treasure hunting permit. It seems the documents were highly persuasive, as in 1987, Kong finally held the permit in his hands. issued by the People's Committee of Binh Trai Ping Pong. With this permit, Nguyen Hong Kong convinced everyone to contribute capital and enthusiastically began a large-scale public excavation. In 1987, tons of machinery and dozens of people followed Nguyen Hong Kong to Hoa Sun Se Mountain. Even the strong young men in Hoa Sun no longer had to go into the forest. They were hired as gold miners with high wages, so everyone was excited. For many months on Hoa Siu Mountain, during the day, people worked in shifts, bustling like a construction site. At night, the generator's power lines illuminated a corner of the forest. After many months of digging up the entire mountain, the money ran out, the gasoline was exhausted, and the treasure ran. Disheartened, the shareholders gradually dismantled the machinery and only Nguyen Hong Kong remained, standing before the gaping excavation pits and the machinery left scattered in the corner. It seemed that would be the end of a rare gold search, and Hoa Siu Mountain would return to peace. When the group of people and machinery had all withdrawn, only the foundation of the command post for the gold hunt remained. But there was someone who turned his back on the group leading the mountain. Nguyen Hong Kong did not descend. He continued the search, convinced that success was within sight. Meanwhile, many people went up to scavenge what the gold digging team had left behind, asserting that the gold treasure was just a hopeless myth. When the major shareholders had all withdrawn, Nguyen Hong Kong also returned to Ho Chi Minh City to seek financial sources, to serve the search for King Ham Ye's gold treasure. Then one day, returning to Hoa Sun, he continued hiring workers, hiring a nanny, a cook to serve meals for his collaborators. Days quietly passed with the moon seasons, and he also had to deal with disputes with villagers over land boundaries. His money gradually dried up. He no longer had money to pay the workers. These people felt sorry for him. Without anyone telling them, they voluntarily worked for free for another month before saying goodbye. Occasionally, when hunting forest game and remembering him, they would climb the slope to bring him a piece of meat, a gourd, or some wild vegetables. Then came the days when he was alone, regardless of sun, rain, or storms in a remote border region. During some forest storms, unable to return to the village in time, he would hastily wrap clothes in a bag and crawl deep into a gold pit or wood. When the storm subsided, the hut was crushed by a fallen tree. Pots, bowls, and chopsticks scattered at his feet. He cleared the forest trees, searching for each item to bring. Someone asked him if there was ever a moment that made him think of giving up and returning. Yes, there was, he said. But according to him, even bouts of illness or gas suffocation in the pits did not make him waver. It was one winter night, as he was dozing off, he suddenly realized a strange cold creeping in from under his feet. The cold gradually crept up to his stomach. Then he realized that a large snake had entered the hut and crawled into the blanket covering his legs. Frozen with fear, he lay still, motionless, whispering for the snake to leave. The snake slid up to his chest, then coiled around his neck for a moment and lay still like that. He held his breath, eyes wide open looking at the dark hut roof, though suppressing his breath lightly as it floated. In terror, he remained motionless, listening to sweat dripping down his back. Until the snake slid away, he didn't even know because his whole body had stiffened, losing the sensation of cold. The next morning, I lit a big fire, sat in the middle of the hut, then took my bag down the mountain intending to get up and return. But halfway down the mountain, it felt like I couldn't go any further. So I turned back, and the next day, I entered the pit to dig again, he recalled. From then on, he returned to the village to buy or ask for many neem seeds to occasionally scatter around the hut. The villagers shared their experience. Snakes usually avoid the smell of neem, so scattering neem seeds will keep them away. He spoke while nodding as if having verified something. 1 year before King Ham Yi ascended the throne, in August 1883, France brought warships into Thuan and quickly occupied the seaport. From there, they marched straight to the capital and stationed troops right on Hue soil. French generals arrogantly entered and exited the imperial city, blatantly interfering in the country's political affairs. Unable to endure any longer, on May 23, 1885, the regent ordered an attack on the French garrison at the capital. Unable to defeat the colonial army with superior weaponry, the regent could not prevent the capital from falling. On the night of July 7, 1885, some documents say July 5, 1885, the regent secretly escorted King Han Yi to leave the capital and retreat to the pre-established Tan So base in Bang Sung, which is in Cat Mia Commune, Han Lo District. Leaving the Hue citadel, King Han Yi went to Quang Binh to deploy the Cat Bong movement against the French invaders. When the movement failed, the king was captured, but his stories and treasures continued to be passed down on the people. According to many research documents, in October 1885, the year of the rooster, King Hamdi and the court left the Sunbon outpost in Hokkien province, heading to County Saw, Kim Lin, present-day Ninh District. The king and court officials first stayed in Sa Hamlet, now Sun Zone 3, Hai Da Town, for 3 days and 3 nights. Here, the king appointed Din Man Wen to the position of Kai Lo Chian, along with his Nguyen militia force, to guard and protect the king. After that, the king moved to Dong Nguyen Hamlet, County Ling Village, Tan Hoa Commune, then returned to Lin Hamlet, Ba Nun Village, San Hoa Commune for 8 days, and Mr. Din Sam, 81 years old, from Ba Nun Village, recounted that during the days in Lin Hamlet, King Hamdi appointed Din Man Sam to the position of Bang Kong, establishing an office to receive edicts signed by the king and memorials submitted from various, with a spirit of loyalty to the king and love for the country. Many Nguyen people in Ma Nun and elsewhere cut down yellow oak, a thorny type of tree, and built multiple layers of fences around the king's area, creating a sturdy combat oak to protect the king and the court officials and soldiers. On the 8th day in Lin Hamlet, the king received news that French troops were pursuing and about to reach Tren Hamlet, Kim Trin Village, Wapha Commune. Seeing that the situation here was up, that night, the king and the court officials divided into 3 groups and swiftly marched to the Magai. Wasan Commune via 3 routes. The group escorting the king mainly consisted of Nguyen militia, managed by Bang Ta Din Ban San, taking turns carrying the king on taking the shortest route from San Hoa Commune to Waha Commune, following the Pan Kui, GOCI route, then passing through Lap Tap Pass into Warai, Wasan Commune. The king ordered a unit to stay behind, commanded by Din Ban Wen, to lead the troops here in a trope. This unit was an elite force, mainly Nguyen people, equipped with crossbows and poisoned arrows. The second group was commanded by Dok Pa Quan Tran Song, advancing into Geo Hamlet, Si Guang, Hong Hoa Commune for Kai Bei. The third group was a decoy force commanded by Tan Ret Wei. In this group was Mr. Nguyen Van Wei, who had once taught the king, impersonating King Hamdi. The fake king was disguised very realistically with royal robes, wearing a royal crown, sitting on a golden palanquin carried by 4 soldiers using drag. Additionally, the king's escort group included elephants, horses, and a group of Nguyen laborers. Following along, carrying the rusty palanquin, chests containing jewels, traveling from Ba Nun to Kai Dan, down to Tan Li, then stopping at Bac Jian, Trung Hoa. The next day, French troops from Kai Dan marched to Ba Nun to capture the king but did not encounter him. They divided into 2 forces to pursue the king. The first force took the main road to Bac Jian. Seeing the French troops arrive, the king immediately sat in a hammock carried by. Upon reaching Wat Long Gate, the king got out of the hammock and was carried by soldiers for a distance. The second force, commanded by Captain Hoi O, captured Mr. Levi, the village chief of Ba Nun, forcing him to lead the way ahead to Lap Tap. Upon arriving, Mr. Levi refused to go ahead, fearing the troops of the Nguyen man highly skilled in shooting crossbows, and therefore, Hoi O ordered a separate platoon of French troops to advance. But all soldiers who stepped through Lap Tap Pass were hit by poison arrows. In that battle, more than half of the French troops were killed or wounded. Enraged, Hoi O forced Mr. Levi to advance, but he remained loyal to the king and country. Hoi O raised his gun and shot Mr. Levi on the spot, then recklessly charged. Immediately, this captain was hit by 2 poisoned arrows from Mr. Cat Ben's troops. Severely wounded, Hoi O had no choice but to order the troops to withdraw from Lap Tap Pass and flee to Light Up. After regrouping, the French king was actually King Hamdi's teacher, and promptly released the fake king to return to his hometown. During the years in Ma Zhe, King Hamdi and the court officials were provided with houses and gardens for the king to work and establish a base. The people of Wasun Commune cut down trees and erected village fences to fight and protect the king. The king and the court built a resistance base against the French, developing the Ken Ball movement in County Saw, Hien Lin, and surrounding areas. The bases established by the king created a solid foundation, forming an interconnected combat formation. The insurgents of these bases fought greatly, eliminating many French troops, protecting King Hamdi until his capture after more than 3 years in the Ninh region. Before being captured, King Hamdi had gold, silver, and jewels hidden inside an ancient tree trunk at Boucher and Ki Wong Pao. Many elderly people in Wasun Commune, then Wa District, recount that during a major flood in August 1956, a girl named Kai, while fishing on a slope, discovered many gold and metal plates on the alluvial land. She left those metal plates by Boucher, Ki Wong Pao. Later, this girl reported to her family, and many villagers came to see, believing that all the metal was King Hamdi's gold. This information was quickly reported to authorities at all levels and relevant agencies. At that time, Wasan Kagin directed militia and police forces to protect the scene and then collect the gold. The total gold collected was 240 kilograms, filling 5 rice rice trays. These were rectangular gold plates. The gold was gathered at Mr. Fat's nearby house, then handed over to the state. However, before collection, many villagers took some gold home for use. Treated like ordinary iron or steel, unaware of its value. Many also say the girl named Kai took a considerable amount of gold, then moved to the south to live and has not returned to this day. Mrs. Din T. Ben, 78 years old, in Dangwa village, recalls that at Boucher, there was a very large but hollow trunk po lang tree. After the major flood, this tree fell and water swept it into the deep ravine, leaving a lot of gold behind when the flood receded. I myself ate up 5 gold bars and handed them in, receiving a new set of clothes as a reward for superiors. And the commune was rewarded with 3 pigs and much rice to celebrate. Following that event, many believe King Hamgi may have hidden gold in the hollow of this giant po lang tree. Many wonder if there are any more treasures of King Hamgi. This is very difficult to answer accurately. However, for nearly 50 years, Mr. Nguyen Hong Kong, from Ho Chi Minh City, has spent immense effort and money searching for treasure with a map of uncertain authenticity. And throughout that long time, he endured hardships on Mossy Mountain in Wasan Commune to find gold. But to this day, exhausted and depleted, he has still not found any treasure, even though he previously declared twice that he had found King Hamgi's gold treasure. Mr. Din Tian Hong, an elderly person in Kaidat Town, with many research works on King Hamgi, asserts, there is no more treasure of King Hamgi in Wasan Commune at all. I believe the map Mr. Nguyen Hong Kong holds is indeed real, drawn right at the time the gold was hidden. But this map is merely a decoy by the king to deceive posterity and the French enemy. Previously, scientists also conducted research and concluded that in the area where Mr. Kong dug for gold on Mossy Mountain, there are no signs of soil layers being disturbed as if dug up and refilled to buried treasure. There is only pristine, original soil there. Some other opinions further explain that while being fiercely pursued by the French enemy, the king and his officials did not have enough time or conditions to dig up an entire mountain to bury gold. On the king's journey from Hue, the entire terrain was rugged, steep mountains. So carrying a heavy load of gold and valuables was not feasible. Thus, freeing an entire treasure was impossible. There is also a story that around the early 1980s, some Ban Kiu ethnic people near Dak Wong Bridge, Quang Thai, while fishing in a stream, accidentally discovered in a large tree hollow submersion. It is a treasure trove consisting entirely of ancient coins made of pure gold and gold bars weighing 1 tael. Around the same time, a survey team from the Central Museum accidentally discovered a Sia. In the direction of Feng Hong Hua, Wong Tri, a blackout guy with red thread embroidered with gold thread and a 5-clawed dragon, believed to be the royal robe of S regulations, only the king. Only 4-clawed dragons were permitted. According to rumors, King Hamdi removed and gifted this robe to a Van Kiu person named Si Yu Shin for helping the royal escort. In mid-April 2003, a group of children in Trang Chau accidentally discovered at Hang Lan, in Banwa Commune, Thuyen Hua District, Quang Binh, a tiger-shaped finial, externally engraved with, when brought down the mountain by this younger sibling, the finial automatically disintegrated. Inside the finial was a black belt, 2 bronze incense burners, and 2 ancient-style locks. These children innocently took the aforementioned artifacts home to play with. A young man in the village discovered this and tricked the children into taking the black sphere, suspected to be made of black rock. It is speculated that these artifacts are likely part of King Hamdi's treasure. According to historical records, Banwa Commune was part of the old base area of the Kanbong. During his flight, King Hamdi also stopped here briefly. A few years ago, Thuyen Hua District, Quang Binh, collaborated with the Department of Culture to complete procedures for receiving 3 gold coins from Mrs. Nguyen T. Lin, residing in Sun Wok. Previously, Mrs. Lin's daughter-in-law discovered 3 coins near water plants while fetching water from Prat Su Stream near the house. The family took her for testing at Kim Hoang Gold Shop in Dong Hook and learned that the coins had a gold content of 999.9%, each weighing 5 kai. 2 gold coins had a diameter of 2.8 centimeters, while the remaining one had a diameter of 2.4 centimeters. Ham Di Thong Bao. These may be among the gold coins King Hamdi carried during the anti-French resistance. Implementing the Hanbong Edict in 1885, Task Committee awarded a cash reward to Mrs. Lean. The truth about whether King Hamdi hid gold in Quang Binh remains entirely mysterious. Such information is also regarded merely as legendary tales about King Hamdi's gold treasure. And from then on, the story of gold diggers has been kindled over the years.